Literally in 1 week of doing that, I think I've gotten 1.6 million views on that Instagram.
That's insane.
One post has 1.2
just
million.
on Instagram?
Just on Instagram.
I did a TikTok, one of my real estate team's newest listings, and it got over 4 million views in less than a week in this this new sort of way that quick cuts. It's just all about showing off the house, but in a more fun light as well. Where do you think like YouTube will be in not 5, 10 years, but 20 years? Where will it be in 20 years? What's going on, guys? We are back with another podcast episode today with Darren and Tommy. Appreciate you guys for watching every single week. It feels like it has been a little bit of time since our last episode. We had a guest on a couple weeks back. We had a banger of an episode last week, and now this week we're in December, Christmas time, the holiday season. Everything is, getting to the new year as well. There's a lot to think about coming to the new year, which is, mind fog in itself. My head is just always spinning so much every night, just thinking about going into the Christmas time and New Year. But yeah, how are we feeling today, Tommy? How you been?
Yeah, no, I'm feeling you, bro. I'm like right now I'm thinking, and I love it. I saw like Ed Milet make a great story, PBD, Patrick Bet, David, for all you guys who know. They're all like, guys, this December month is where you lean in and you strategize and you go even harder and you don't take your foot off the gas pedal, because like these kind of moments in these next 30 days, 20 days, whatever, till the end of the year is where you can really get like an edge on your competitors, or just get an edge in whatever sphere you're in of business and life. And that's like in the back of my head right now, bro. It's like, what about you? I know it is for you. I know without a doubt. You can't even sleep at night. You're like 2 a.m. thinking about content creation.
Yeah, no, I know, because it is just like such a crazy time right now. And I mean, it always is, but going into the last 2 months, especially with the holidays coming up, and it's normally like wedding season 2, there's all these like different things, events to go to, holiday stuff. It's like, you just feel like you want to get ahead of the competition and do more, because also you want that good momentum going into a new year. And every year you feel like this next year is going to be, my year. Everyone thinks like that as well. But I mean, you have to work toward getting I just love having great momentum going into January 1st and not just planning goals on December 31st and then trying to start everything new on January 1st, such as like even the basic things in life, like going to the gym, eating healthy, like just getting everything in life, all facets intact. And I think it starts in the last quarter for sure, to make sure you have that good momentum going into the first quarter of the new year, because that's when everything needs to start snowballing to have a great 2023.
Yeah, no, I agree, dude. Get in the gym now. Start eating healthy now. Start doing the things. Start becoming the person you want to be in the future now. Yep. Like, I did this the last few years with Samantha and the kids. It's like January 1st, dude, go to a donut store and eat a donut. But like the first thing of the year. And I sort of like almost as like a joke to all the like, okay, January 1st, got to get in the gym, got to eat a vegan meal, high protein, keto, whatever. It's like, it's almost like, dude, we need to already be doing the things that we need to be doing now and not wait till January 1st. And something you really got me like going here is the momentum, because it's so true with either making content and you start getting those views and they start stacking, or anything in life. It's like that momentum, and it's a lot easier just to crush next year if you're already building the momentum. The hardest thing, bro, is when you're just like, you just stop. And you just like the last 2 weeks in December, you chill, and then you get to January 1st, and it's really hard to get out of that funk. And it feels like you take 2 weeks off. It feels like you need another 2 months to get back to where you were.
Yeah. And it's just the same with like going on vacation and stuff, like people that just go on a vacation to relax. I mean, once you get back from that vacation, you need to because vacation's exhausting. You come back, you need to relax after your vacation. It's not like you're going out there to blow off steam from your dreaded job, and then you come back to what, like face reality. I mean, it just sucks how I feel like we are just conditioned to living in this cycle of society that they've taught us since we were young. You you work your 9 to 5, you go on vacation once a year just to blow off steam from that 9 to 5. You work till the weekend. I mean, I don't know. It's just a lot. But yeah, January 1st, that is also the worst day to go to the gym because it's always so packed. You can't even get any dumbbells, can't get any equipment.
Yeah.
But yeah, even with stopping with YouTube momentum as well. You take 2 weeks off. I've seen this many times with other creators and myself. You know, the momentum will almost never come back until you start to innovate, until you start to do something, branch out into different areas and just like be a little more creative. That's why in the content space, it's all about being more creative every week, staying consistent with it, innovating. And yeah, momentum is everything.
Yeah, no, I remember we've spoken a lot about this when you're making content, and if you stop for like a week or 2 or 3, whether it's your audience or the algorithm, because it almost snowballs, right? Say, you know this, Darren, you're making YouTube videos, right? And say you have like 1,000 subscribers, and every time you put out a video, you get 200 views right away. And then the video maybe in 3 weeks from now, maybe has 1,000 views, right? But it just like, and then the next week you get 300 views when you publish the video, and it just slowly climbs, right? Because that audience is conditioned like a television show to keep coming back weekly, and you just grow and grow and grow, because then you're not only getting the new audience that's coming, but you have the pre-existing audience. But when you just like cut all ties, dude, for a month, it's really hard because a lot of those people never click again, or it takes a while, like you said, to innovate. So then, you get some love from that.
Yeah. And I think I was just explaining this to someone the other day about YouTube and social media, where YouTube looks at these creators like a TV show, because YouTube is the new cable. It's the new TV, obviously. And so if they see you posting at the same exact time and day every single week, they will reward that with good momentum. They will push it out to more people's recommended pages. And that's why like some people grow. I mean, obviously you have to have good content and good quality content every single week and keep innovating, all this stuff. But if you're posting at the same time, same day every week, YouTube will think that you're a Bravo TV show, or a show on cable that like we have. It's always a set time. Every Sunday night you got Family Guy on, or Simpsons, or whatever is on these channels, and they do that for years and years. And YouTube will look at your channel as the same thing. So it's that's just the new way these algorithms are working, and that's just one of the ways to try to grow consistently.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense, right? Because like if we had a business, right, and we have 2 employees, and one employee shows up half the time and the other employee shows up 7 days a week, what employee are we going to reward with the bonuses, with the extra love, with the better clients, or whatever? It's going to be the person who's always showing up. So I mean, I know you were like in athletics. Listen, dude, I'm not a sports guy, but you are a big sports dude. I mean, you played baseball, and that's one thing I admire from athletes in general. They know half the battle is just showing up. And if you could just show up, and then like you played baseball, you just keep taking swings, eventually you're going to knock one out of the park. And then you don't stop it after you knock one out of the park. Like that's where it's like, okay, I sort of like with making content, okay, that posted well. How can I recreate that again and again and again until it stops working? Innovate. Boom.
Yeah. I mean, just showing up is so big, because it also goes with like going to the gym. Let's say someone's trying to get into shape, and they're like, but the hardest part for them is just getting into the gym. The first part is getting into your car and driving there. even if you don't want to go to the gym that day, just go there, drive there, and then step foot in for 1 minute. If you can step foot in the gym for 1 minute and then leave, sure. I mean, do that. But it's all about just going there and getting there. Once you're in there, you might as well say, oh, I'll do one set, whatever. But for people that find it hard and struggle to like get their body in shape, get healthy, go to the gym every day, I think just showing up is huge in that aspect. Just making sure you're going every day and trying, just being there instead of just staying in, your comfy bed or sitting at your office desk. There's definitely just getting there, showing up is most of the effort in going to the gym. And then slowly over time, you'll get better. You'll put more time in. It'll get easier. Everything gets easier the more you do it. And it's the same with like making content, making YouTube videos. Just post one. We always talk about this also. Post one first, and then post another, and then try to stay consistent with that, and slowly it will get better naturally as well. Organically, the content quality will grow, ideas will come, and it's all about this concept of just showing up and starting and doing one.
Yeah, no, I love it, dude. And we've had sort of an exciting week. You've got some new exciting stuff going with your content and stuff you're sort of figuring out, and then stuff I'm figuring out. So it'd be cool to share with people who are listening. By the way, if you're on Apple, Spotify, make sure to leave a comment, leave us a review. We're trying to grow. It really help us. And also like and subscribe, all that fun stuff if you're on YouTube. But we want to share with you, things we're dealing with and how we're looking to grow in 2023 with our content and take it to the next level. And yeah, Darren, what are you seeing sort of with your content? Maybe some plans. This is real practical stuff for someone looking to get into creating content, or who's already creating content now, maybe stagnant and maybe looking to really grow in the next year and even now.
Yeah, so we are in December, and like we talk about goal setting and growing, and a lot of this podcast will be about us in the coming weeks, but we will be getting some big guests on too in the future. So stick around for that, subscribe, and make sure you listen for when we get all of those guys. And so basically, me and Tommy, we're trying to really hone in on growing our social media. Obviously we talk a lot about content creation and all of this, and shorts are big right now. So what I've been doing on my YouTube channel isn't going to be the same in the next 2-3 years. It wasn't the same 2 years ago as it was now. And so you always have to find different ways to innovate, especially in like a niche of real estate. And there's only like a handful of people that are actually doing, like in my niche, that are actually crushing it. But it depends. Like, it depends what you're trying to do with the production value or getting more creative with things. And for me, I've pretty much had an easy system the last couple of years to where I didn't have to put too much thought into it. But once you see a downward trend and the views going down, even with some of the top creators in the niche, then you realize that maybe I have to innovate, maybe. And then you'll also see other creators that are just blowing up. Me and Tommy being in the religious niche in Christianity, he sees a lot of these creators getting millions of subscribers instantly. Not instantly. Obviously, they've been doing hard work, but it almost seems like it is instantly. It's not always the overnight success we think, but it does feel like that when we feel like we've been doing this for a while and that we know what we should be doing and that we can get to where some of these people are. So we've just been hammering in shorts. I did a TikTok at one of our teams, one of my real estate team's newest listings, and it got over 4 million views in less than a week in this new sort of way that I quick cuts. It's just all about showing off the house, but in a more fun light as well. I think it needs to be a little more authentic, a little less robotic in the way to go about some of these house tour. I think in the future, people are going to like people that are, or not in the future, but even now, people like to see people that are more authentic, more just themselves, no matter who you are, and just showing that life isn't too serious no matter what business you're in. People like to see that that others are having fun in every profession, whether that you're a doctor, a lawyer. You see all these people messing around, chiropractors with big followings that are just, having fun, making lighthearted content, and people really, really are attracted to that. But we're just trying to figure it out day by day. We always have these talks, try to come up with ideas of what we can really do to just explode and make 2023 just the best year possible.
Totally. No, I love that. Yeah, I think we're in a really opportune time, really cool moment with social media. And one of the reasons is because of YouTube. YouTube, the old sleeping giant, it's been there. It's the place everyone wants to be on. Everyone's taking their audiences to YouTube. I mean, it's Google, man. Google owns YouTube. I feel like YouTube's really, it's like you could have a million followers on TikTok, 1 million on Instagram, 1 million on YouTube. What would I rather take? It'd be the YouTube subscribers. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. So right now, like what I'm seeing is, and as Darren and I are talking, like this approach to generalist kind of content, or content that appeals to like mass audience, where you still, and this is something that's on my thought and on my head right now, is like it's still whatever niche you're in, but how could you appeal to a lot of people? Because like we've been talking, it's like, okay, for example, I'm doing real estate creator, like, and I'm starting to run YouTube ads and this and that, and like, you know, I could scale that with ads and sales teams and blah blah blah. But I'm like, dude, Darren, if I just had 1 million followers or whatever, like how quickly would I could come up with 1 million products to sell? You know what I mean? So like before we got on this call, we were getting all excited and talking, and Darren was saying that like the fastest growing startup is creating a YouTube channel. What is it? The fastest netting?
I think you said it correctly there. The fastest, the highest ROI in beginning a startup company right now is starting a YouTube channel as like your startup company, I guess. Which is, I mean, it makes a lot of sense because you see people that can just post a couple shorts, get millions of views. Where else can you get millions of eyeballs? And in any business, every business is a marketing game, and YouTube is the ultimate marketing platform. And you see people every day just blowing up. But also, some of these people, like we were saying, it's not an overnight success. A lot of them have taken 5, 6, 7 years to get to where they're at now. So you don't want to discredit that either.
No.
But yeah, so it's a pretty cool stat.
But yeah, so it's just like, that's mind blowing. So like we talk about, there's a limited amount of time in the day, limited amount of time in the week, the month. You only have so many years on this earth. So it's like, what can I net the highest ROI with my time? That's why we always would be like on cold calling or different things for certain things, because a piece of content you could leverage your time and scale it, where these more traditional forms of marketing you can't. So like, for example, I had this Instagram, The Gospel of Tommy. It's the Tommy Jordan now, but it was like 17,000 followers, where I'm making posts about like the Bible. So for example, like the Bible in real life. So there's all these like archaeological discoveries. I can't even speak. Archaeological discoveries about the Bible that exist. That, you know, there's actually more manuscripts for the Bible, the Old Testament and the New Testament, than even like Socrates, Plato. There's over 20,000 manuscripts. So there's all these things people don't know about the Bible, know about God. And I created this series a long time ago about just showing like, okay, for example, a picture of like David from the Bible, and then this old like ancient stone that was found in that David and Goliath, you probably know the story, of like the house of David. So it's just all these cool things. So it's mass appeal. So like recently I was talking to Darren, I'm like, dude, if I just like grow my following, you just grow your following, and we just go all in on just getting massive followings, the podcast, our businesses, everything would explode. So literally just in the last week, I had 17,000 followers, and now it's like 24,000. I like literally in 1 week of doing that, I think I've gotten 1.6 million views on that Instagram.
That's insane.
One post has 1.2
just
million.
On Instagram?
Just on Instagram. So TikTok.
I was going to say, how do you feel? Well, how's the growth on TikTok compared to that? Are you also growing equally as fast, getting similar views? Because you are posting the same exact content every day on both platforms, right? As well as YouTube Shorts, obviously. But
yeah, so something interesting. So I have Google Photos. Okay, if you're a content creator, Google Photos. I'm using the Repost TikTok app. I did this years ago. I had Google Photos, the cloud, to my iPhone. I would repost it to Instagram. So I literally have about 270 to 300 pieces of content with music, everything already done, a no TikTok watermark, already sitting in Google Photos. So I'm literally just taking those. It's taking me no time to just take those videos, schedule them out on YouTube, put them on TikTok and Instagram, and boom. Like these apps, you could like post good content over and over again if you space it out, and you could get a lot of views. So with TikTok, I was actually kicked out of the creator program like a year ago, because TikTok, they don't really like it if you talk about like Jesus and stuff and sin and, you know, some of the stuff. It
is run by China. So
yeah, dude. And you know, China's feeling with the Bible, dude. They don't like, that's why everyone's hiding underground, bro. And I'm like, dude, if Jesus was even real, if he was like the spaghetti monster, why would you care if like people even spoke about him? But that's for another time. But you know, if it was like the Tooth Fairy, you could talk about Santa Claus, but not Jesus. So anyways, so TikTok, I think I'm still somewhat not like shadow banned, but like I had one post this week get to maybe 150,000, one get to 50,000, but not the same views. On my Instagram right now, they're all at 50,000, 100,000. So totally different experience, but now I'm also taking that right now to YouTube Shorts, and that YouTube channel that I had like, I don't know, maybe 80 subscribers. And literally in like 4 days, now I'm to like 230, 240. Crazy. So massive opportunity right now if you're listening to. And the thing that I figured out with that Bible in real life thing, one, it was a very general piece of content. Two, I picked a song that was sort of edgy and not like, you know, Lord, I lift your name on high. Like every non-Christian would be like, whoa, dude, this is like some occult thing. I got to run. Yeah. It's sort of a more edgy song, drags people in, and then it hooks them with a picture before and then with music, and then they wait for the after, the reveal. And you've seen this a lot, Darren. Like with TikTok, they do a reveal. So you have the first piece of thing, content, picture, video, whatever that, and then the second thing sort of shows like the answer, that response. So, you know, you hook them. I capture their attention with the hook, right? And then I maintain that attention. And then one secret that I've learned is at the end of every post on TikTok, I'll do type Jesus is King if you are his, or share, like and share if you want part 2, like and share if you want part 3.
A little call to action.
Calls to actions on my TikTok was one of the things that got my TikTok to get millions of views and stuff, and my shorts as well. Yeah, so especially,
I definitely see all those people that comment Jesus is King, and it's the engagement is crazy on a lot of those as well. When I look at the comments, I'm like, oh my God, there's 40 comments on this and only like 400 views or whatever. It's getting the same amount of comments as most videos would get likes. You know, the engagement is crazy. That's definitely what helps the algorithm take it off and recommend it to more people as well. So the call to actions are huge. And yeah, you figured out a trend that works. You get the retention rate is up, I'm sure, because people want to see what the reveal is, which is very, very unique. So I mean, might as well just keep hammering them out. They're easy to make. They're short. And they do well, so just ride that wave as long as possible, dude. And
I'm going to, and that's like what like Darren was talking about. Some of the people in his niche, the big guys are slowing down, and you could look on Social Blade and stuff and type in these YouTubers' name and scroll down to the bottom and see their subscribers and views, and you could see all the analytics. I'm not going into too detail about certain people, but you could look up anybody, and that's a good kind of barometer to see what the big creators in that niche, how are they doing. And then he's seeing these newer guys that are basically doing what these other guys took them years to do, and they're doing it in like months, 6 months, a years. But like, for example, I saw this guy in the Christian niche. He's been on TikTok for 3 years, and then he's been learning the short game. And now he's just putting them, all that experience that all the insights he gained by being on TikTok, he's just putting that on YouTube now. And this one guy went from like 10,000 subscribers in a year to he's at 2 million. And it's not an overnight success, but it is. Like, you could be an overnight success if you put the years in.
I mean, you could stay at that stagnant pace for as long as you want, you know, like where I'm at right now. I feel like it with my YouTube channel, but and I'm sure a lot of people do that. They're at the same pace for like 4 or 5 years, and then they figure out something that works and they ride that wave, kind of like what you're doing right now, but in the beginning of your journey, of your process. And then you see this huge spike, and then you stay up there forever, which is also, well, not forever, but at least you're on a different tier. I remember back in we've taken a bunch of courses in the past, but I've taken this one YouTube course that it's cool when you look back on most of your analytics. And also, Social Blade is the greatest website to ever exist. Like, any creator, especially for someone who likes to learn and study about these different creators, you know, anyone I look up, I'll immediately type in their Social Blade, any new or even any old YouTuber that I follow, just to see how their growth has been over the past few years. It's always interesting to see. Yeah, lost my train of thought. But
So you're talking about your channel's a little stagnant, and you're comparing to other channels and stuff right now.
right. I mean, yeah, you always just have to figure out where the new niche, the new wave is. I mean, also, once a video pops off, take that and keep going, keep riding with it. If you look back on all the huge YouTubers that did a lot of things like that, Eric, he snuck into a place and then he's like, that worked, I'll sneak into 5 more. Mr. Beast, he donated money once. He's like, all right, I'll do this 10 more times. And all these people, they figure out like a small little trend and then they'll ride that, but you can't ride it forever because eventually all trends will become stagnant, which is crazy because then you have to find another, not really trend, but you got to be creative. That's why they're called creators, because you have to be creative every single week and figure out a new thing. Unless most channels can't just do the same video every single week for years. It's not the easiest thing to do. But yeah, what I was saying is you get to a new tier eventually. Like, let's say you're doing 10,000 views a month on average. Then you get a viral video that spikes up to 50,000. Then you drop down into another tier, maybe 30,000 views a month. And then you spike up to another tier. And then it's just like slowly this upward trend that just keeps going up and up and up. And that's just with each viral video, you'll go into another tier of views, money, subscribers. And then also subscriber count really doesn't ever go down. So once you have that, you'll also will have the social proof along with it that people will say, wow, this person has 1 million subscribers. That is very impressive to have 1 million subscribers on a YouTube channel, and once you get there, people won't even look at what you've done in the past. People will only know you for what you are doing now. Like Mr. Beast, like no one really talks about that. He used to count up to 100,000 initially to, for 20 hours to get his initial virality. Now people just think of him as this philanthropic guy who's doing so many great things for people, handing out so much money, doing these crazy challenges. But people don't really look back years and see the initial trends that took these people off. But there's just so much in the space to talk about, Tom. I don't sleep at night.
I know. Our brains are always going and just finding just information and creators. I've been really liking some of these guys who are behind the scenes helping creators. We saw something on Patty Galloway and how he was helping even Mr. Beast and some big people. And then you sent me a guy today. Do you remember his name?
No, I don't. I don't have a clue.
But it was on Think Media podcast, and there's some of these guys in the space that are just so knowledgeable on creating content and creating viral content, and that it's like not an accident. Like Eric didn't go from, and he just recently hosted the Streamies. He didn't go from 0 to 10 million in a few years by accident, and that could bring us a lot of hope. You listening a lot of hope, unless you got 10 million subs. And what's up, player? Because that's sick.
If you're watching it, or if you're listening to this and have 10 million subs, we need you on this podcast. Just to
hit us up.
We want to pick your brain. Let's just talk. Let's have a little conversation. We'll talk about life. We'll talk about anything. But yeah, I mean, talking about Eric and the Streamies, it's really cool. So what happened recently was the YouTube Streamy Awards, which is like, this was the first time. I've watched like highlights in the past, but this is the first year that I've like actually kind of was curious about it. I just like seeing the whole setup from just like not just like a fan standpoint, but from a standpoint of also like someone who's creating and is kind of in the space to just see all these people, where they came from and how their like attitudes are being in a setting like that. Because most of the people that are there aren't just like, it's not like the Academy Awards where everyone there kind of like has a stigma. Like you'll just look at the Academy Awards and think all of these people think that they're better than everyone. I feel like you'll think that they are a little bit more pretentious and just high society type people. But at these YouTube Awards, they seem to have just like a little bit of a different attitude toward everything, because they're not in these settings as often. They're just a lot of them are just filming with their camera or their small team or whatever. I mean, some of them have huge teams now, but still it's just, and they've only been in the space for a handful of years. Whereas some of these older actors, actresses, directors, big time movie people have been in the space for tens, decades, and
Yeah.
they've gone through a lot of crazy things in the Hollywood industry, whereas these YouTubers, they could live anywhere, and then, or maybe they move it to LA now, but it's just such a different, it's just also where the future is headed to. I mean, this is going to be bigger than, I don't know if the stream is specifically, this award show will be bigger than the Academy, probably never, but who knows, really, because we don't know.
I don't know, man.
Because we don't know where, like, movies are going in the future. People's attention spans are so minuscule. How many people are going to the theaters these days? How many people are even throwing a movie on their TV and watching the whole thing without looking at their phones anymore? I don't really know the stats behind that, but I feel like it's dwindling down less and less over time just because of the content game. I mean, you could watch a Yes Theory video or which is a super well-produced movie, and it's only 30 minutes long, and you're still getting a lot out of it and it's real life as well. You learn a lot of stuff from it. I mean, it's always good to see movies like classic old-time movies, but I feel like less great movies are being made because the ROI behind that production that they're providing isn't as good as doing something different in media. So it's just, who knows where we're going to be in 5 to 10 years. And I don't think anyone could predict that, really.
Yeah, I think it's a really crazy era. I feel like social media is really democratizing being famous, becoming somebody, becoming a content creator. Like the power that used to just be in the hands of a few, MGM and Paramount and these big Hollywood studios, like they don't hold all the power now, and they know that. And it was funny years ago when I started seeing CAA, that's Creative Artists Agency, William Morris Endeavor, these are big Hollywood agencies that represent Will Ferrell and anybody who's anybody. And now they're representing all these content creators, like big YouTubers, because the thing I love about content creation is like someone could go in 2 years of hard work from a nobody to an 8-figure business, literally making tens of millions of dollars within a few years. And it is hard work, and it doesn't happen to everyone, and you have to be smart. But in the old traditional Hollywood kind of route, you go on all these casting auditions, and because I remember I wanted to be an actor. I did the Groundlings and all these things in LA, and you sit there and they have 10 other people that look like you or better looking than you, and they say no, yes, no. You read your lines to someone, the casting director, and they decide your fate. Well, now you could decide your fate. It's not in the hands, and that's what I love. If you have a good message, it might not even be good yet, but if it's in your heart and you just perfect that over time, and it will just become better and people want to hear it, dude, you could become a somebody, because everybody is a somebody at the end of the day, whether you have followers or not, no followers. But if you want to create followers, you could totally do it for yourself. I don't know, that got a little Tony Robbins, but it just excites me because I like how anybody could do it.
Yeah, it's not like, I know what you're saying. It's not like someone's worth is less because they have less followers. No. Obviously, but even though some people think like that people that aren't really in content creation and they're scrolling on Instagram, seeing all these people doing great things or whatever, it's also just a highlight reel looking at social media. People aren't posting their losses. All these day traders are only posting their wins. They're not posting their losses on there. So, but I know, you have to, you decide your own fate these days especially being an actor, an up and coming actor. You can just I feel like it's way easier now too. If your sole dream is to become an actor in the movies, let's say you want to be an actor in the movies and you want to be the next Leonardo DiCaprio, and that's just all you really want to do. You focus all your time and effort. I feel like it's way easier these days than it was 20, 30 years ago, because you could you might as well just post a video every day and also show off some production value as well. If you know a lot about directing or production and acting, then might as well make cinematic movies of yourself acting. And then the hardest part would probably be coming up with an idea, but I'm just brainstorming for a young Leo here, so it's just post daily YouTube videos of a well-produced cinematic video with a good script, and then eventually it'll pop off, make some shorts, make a great channel, you know, try to interact, like network with other people in the space, and then eventually you will get seen. Like, I don't care, you'll definitely get seen if you're good enough, if the production is good enough, if you have what it takes, and if that's all you care about. It's way easier than like coming to LA, like you said, and sitting in a line of 30 people that you probably think are better than you. Just naturally in your head, you're like, okay, well, I don't belong here. And just like, yeah, it's you can determine your own fate just by putting in the effort in posting videos. It's free. Anyone can do it. It's just such a different time.
Yeah. I mean, it's nuts. Like, I remember when I was really going hard, like before last year, my family and I, we went with YWAM Youth with the Mission, and we went to France for like 3 months on a mission trip. And because of YouTube and because of that income that's just coming in with my buyers here in the States with these clients, I'm able to sell homes while on a missions trip. Social media, crazy, right? So I was making all these videos, getting millions of views, right, on TikTok and Instagram and stuff. And then I had like, you know, an assistant of a massive pastor like want to do a collab with me on TikTok. And I'm like, dude, I'm just like this guy who no one knew about, like no one still knows about, but in the Christian space, like people were starting to know. And it's just like wild how like you could just create stuff out of thin air, and then you start connecting with big people. And like you said, like if you're an actor and you just start making some clips and videos and you start putting yourself out there, maybe what you could do is like you pick, like, this would be really cool idea. Okay. You pick all, like if you wanted to be Leonardo, you pick all your favorite scenes from like Leo, Titanic, all these different movies, right? And you say like, you show a clip of that, and then you do your own take on it, and you like, right?
That's a great idea. I like that idea,
dude.
Yeah,
so
dude. We are helping out young Leo right now. That is a good idea. You know, show a clip from The Revenant of him getting attacked by a bear, and then reenact
it out.
Your you know, the way that he did. Just be afraid. You know, scream, do whatever you have to do to show people that is you, dude.
Yes.
Oh man, so much. You could even name your channel like something about, you know, being Leo, like reenacting Leo, and then just every video is you in a new Leo scene in a different movie. There's unlimited content there.
Unlimited.
It would definitely, like, that would go viral on shorts, a few of them, you know, if you think about it. TikTok would take off. That's a million follower channel right there. If anyone's trying to become an actor, do that.
Dude, so one, you're doing the trend jacking thing. You're riding off the coattails of someone who's like already famous, right? Yep. So people see that and they're more apt to watch and give you the benefit of the doubt because they're interested in that actor who already build up that social proof, like Darren was saying. And then two, like, I don't know what two was, but yeah, you get to show off your skills.
Yeah. And
you get to get better at your skills while you make hundreds and thousands of these clips. So yeah, dude, the opportunities are pretty endless, man.
Yeah, that is incredible. I mean, dude, just in any space, but even being an actor these days it's just tough. But I don't know how many people really would want to be an actor. Isn't there a stat that has been out there that I don't know what it was, 70% of kids' dream jobs is to become a YouTuber or something like that? It's something pretty wild. And
yeah,
I wonder why that is. I hope it's not because of self-vanity, you know, or just people that want to become famous. Because like what even is becoming famous
totally
in the mind of a kid? Like why do they think they want to be famous? Probably just because anyone they see, you know, all they consume are people on the internet. You know, they're not just in their own bubble. Everyone that they scroll through on their phones, everyone they watch is a celebrity to them. So maybe they just are like, oh, I want to be like that guy. It's like, I guess like me growing up, I would only consume sports and baseball. So like me, I was like, oh, growing up, I want to be like, you know, this professional athlete, whoever that may be. But yeah, I guess whatever we consume the most of is who we kind of would want to be like when we're younger and grown up. And if these kids are watching YouTube videos of Mr. Beast, you know, which I'm sure a lot are, with 115 million subscribers, you know, why wouldn't they want to be like him, having all this money, you know, and giving it away to a bunch of people as well? He's like, it's not a bad idol to have.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, no, I think it's a good point. Like, yeah, if you grow up and you're always watching like sports with your like dad on the couch every weekend, and you see these baseball or you see these basketball stars come up, and then, and then have a really good game, and they're, it's like, yeah, I think like you become what you really look at, or what you want to be, what you're watching, what you're reading, what you're listening to. But I would just, yeah, caution anyone, like we talk about, like we thinking of it as like the creator economy, talking about not only like for us, like getting a lot of views, getting millions of followers isn't just for like the vanity metric, because who really cares at the end of the day? It's what you could do with that audience, and the good you could do with that audience, and the message you can get across to those people. And I think that's like, whether like Darren with his home tours, like, someone might be in the ghetto and like wanting to change their lives, and then they watch these houses and they're aspiring to maybe one day live in that house, and maybe it gives them a reprieve from their daily life, the entertainment, or it could change someone's life. Or my message, people maybe have suicidal thoughts or whatever, and showing them, hey, there's hope in God. So I would just like, whoever you are, if you want to get into content creator and you're creating content, for all of us, really, not just you guys, us included, we have to remember what these views, likes, these subscribers are for. And it is to get like a greater message out, to really help people. And I think if you do it with that in mind, you can have 50 million followers, and it's like, who am I at the end of the day? I'm grateful for, the millions of people or whatever you can get to follow you. But it's really being a content creator. It's not about you. It's about the people. And I think if you make content in mind for the end user, you'll be way more successful. Because if you look at someone like Eric or something, or Mr. Beast, it's not all about them. They're thinking, how can I make this piece of content as valuable as possible, as quick as possible, not wasting any time, to make this a good experience for the viewer. And that's how they've just grown to massive levels.
I think a big thing is looking at it in a more positive light than a negative light, because, a lot of people will look at these people and think, oh, that they just want fame and money. They're in it for a bad cause. They just want to be powerful. They just want it. They think of them like the government or something. They just want all this power. Not to go into that, but that they want all this power just to be, just to rule over people or whatever they think. But if you think about it as, it's also why they call these people influencers, because they do have a massive influence on a lot of people, young, old, everyone. And if you use that influence in a good light, by starting a philanthropy company, by helping the homeless, by doing, there's anything you could do, endless amount of things you could actually do with the influence. And if the way to get that influence is making videos where you are giving away hundreds of thousands of dollars to, if you're trapping 100 kids and 100 adults in 2 cubes, like what Mr. Beast did in one of his last videos, if that's one of the ways to get that massive influence, then so be it, because he could have like 500 million subscribers, and I don't know what crazy number he could be. I don't even know, but with that influence, he can do really anything. Start huge businesses, bigger than we've ever imagined, and he could be worth more than Elon Musk in the future as well, because if you have the following, you can do anything with it, as long as you do what we've been talking about: innovating, continuing to be creative, staying consistent with it, having that future vision of greatness. And I think he'll probably get there eventually. I mean, he's just the biggest YouTuber of all. That's why we talk about him on every episode. It's just insane.
Yeah. No, man, I love everything what you're saying. Like, I just had this thought, and it's like, whether you believe in God or not, I believe God created you, created all of us for a certain purpose. And like, he's given you interest. Like Darren with like luxury homes or real estate or people. Like, we all have these interests. And I think what I've been realizing is, like, especially as I get older, it's like, try not to chase the bag, and think about like, okay, what am I good at? What do I enjoy? And like try to go after that more, you know. And then the cool thing about content creation is like, if you do build a big audience and whatever you love and you're passionate about, one, you'll continue doing it for years to come, which will like give you the success just like by default, just by persisting and actually being interested in the subject you're speaking about for years on end, building that snowball effect like Darren talks about. And then two, it's like you're really living in your purpose, like what you feel like, you know, so you don't give up when it gets hard and you keep going. And it's like, and that's what like I've been thinking about lately, you know, which is real estate, you know, it's my full-time income, but then like I love doing the stuff about the gospel and just like, you know, I think, because it is true, like Instagram and stuff. That's why I like YouTube so much better than even TikTok or Instagram. TikTok a little more than Instagram, because Instagram was sort of just like, it felt like highlight reels of just like, people doing cool stuff, cool vacations and this, but like, you know, whatever, but like, what's their day to day like? What are they actually doing day in, day out? Do they love what they're doing? So I think we need to, like, all of us just focus on like, what do we really love and what we're passionate about. And sometimes we do stuff in the middle just to like make ends meet before we could get to like what we're passionate about. But you always have the weekends, you always have nights to do that passion. But it's like, you know,
yeah, I know. And it definitely, we talk about this just about every day. You got to think long term with it all, because if you don't like what you're doing, even if if you think that if you're going viral for, you know, the wrong reasons, are you going to be able to do that in 2-3 years? Like in 3 to 5 years, what do you want your content to be? Like, can you be doing the same thing? Do you want this to be your perception or everyone's perception of you and your brand online? It's tough to just think of how you want to portray yourself to your audience. And that just comes with, you know, being a creator. And I mean, what you're passionate about, it's tough to really figure out what you're passionate about. I think people ask themselves this every day, no matter how old they are, like, what do I actually like to do? And I think you have to just try out a bunch of things and then slowly get better at it over time to figure out what you're like truly passionate about. I mean, we hear all these different guys online, you know, we talk about them all the time, the Hormozis, the Gary V's, like, I mean, they're very opposite though. Like, I think Gary V will say, pick your passion and then, you know, and then try to make a channel or a brand out of that specific thing, like Smurfs or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
But a guy like Hormozi, I think he says, or even Pineda, I think they just say, you know, work hard at one thing and then it'll slowly develop into your passion. So I don't think there's like one true answer for that.
Yeah.
But figure out what you enjoy doing and that you can see yourself doing in 5 years. It doesn't have to necessarily be your passion, because I feel like people use that word a little bit too lightly. Like your passion, like what is my passion? I mean, it's hard to discover, and some people probably don't even ever discover what their passion is. I mean, people have interests and hobbies that they can take and build businesses out of, but I don't know.
I think a passion, it's not just like a singular thing.
Yeah.
You know, like a singular profession, a singular idea. I think it's more interest, you know?
Right.
And I think sometimes the passion is more about trying a bunch of different things, and then multiple interests sort of aligning to create a passion. I think it's like it's a mix of everything sort of coming together, you know, but I don't think it's not always lifelong. I think for you and I, for example, we like content creation. Yeah. That's like the ultimate thing. And then how that looks might change over the years. Like what we might be doing with that might change, but ultimately, like you like we were talking with our channels, like, you know, for example, you with your real estate one, like really, like, would you rather, you know, sell a $5 million home, or would you rather have 5 million subs on YouTube?
I mean, that's not even like a question,
you know what I mean?
man.
Like
5 million subs, dude. Like, I'm on the moon with 5 million subs.
You could do more with those 5 million subs than you could, like, if you were just selling $5 million homes. So,
exactly.
I mean, yeah, don't get like, yeah, I don't want any, like, especially if you're younger, to go like stare in the mirror for the next hour and like, what is my passion? I think just like what's worked well for me in life is just those interests, just pursue them, no matter how silly or what they might seem, and they might fizzle out, but they're just skills you're learning to just get you further down the road of what you really, I think there's a purpose at the end of the day for everyone.
Definitely. I mean, if I look back on like my passions when I was a kid, I mean, obviously baseball is my number one passion throughout my whole life until I was 22, 23 years old. Not that I'm still super passionate about it. You know, I love LA sports, love the Dodgers, Lakers, all that good stuff. But it's tough but when I really go back to my roots of content creation, man, did you know I was posting YouTube videos in 2006? Did you know that?
You know what? I don't.
Did I ever tell you that?
Told me that? No, dude. No. What were you making videos about at that age?
Dude. When I was 12 years old, I don't even know why this date is like in my head. I think October 18, 2006, I posted my first YouTube video, and I posted probably 40, 50 videos back then. When I was 12. Yeah, like when I was young, 2006, 2007, 2008. I probably did 30 videos very similar to this. That's funny. I never told you this, but it was music videos where, let's say, a couple songs, that song by T-Pain, like Apple Bottom Jeans. Have you heard that song?
Boots with the fur.
Yeah. And I did a music video to that song. What? Me and my elementary school friends, we would like have boots with fur and throw them around, and then just like we do like silly things to music videos. We did like With You by Chris Brown. I did I'll Sue Ya, Weird Al Yankovic. That's so funny.
Goodness.
That's so funny but so I probably did 30 of those videos, and I don't even remember if I knew how many. I definitely had like a few hundred subs, maybe even a couple thousand at the time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Imagine if you would have stuck with it.
Dude, I also had another account with my good friend. I had so many channels back then. But what ended up happening was probably in 2008 or 2007, 2008, around there, YouTube eventually copyrighted all my videos because they were all songs, that were, and that was not a thing back then. You couldn't copyright songs in the 06, 07, but then they, instead of just deleting the videos or taking them off, they deleted all my channels, all of them. I had like 5 or 6 channels under like the same emails. All of them got deleted. I was like 14 years old, 15 or whatever. Yeah, probably 14. And I emailed them. They never got back to me. Those channels are still gone, dude. I can never watch those videos again. I edited those on my MacBook from 2006 and on iMovie, and I don't have those files anymore, so I can never watch those videos ever again. But maybe one day, if they ever respond to my email 15 years later, wait, more than that, shoot, and I'll be able to watch those videos. But those were great videos, and just bringing this back full circle, that's just what I liked doing back then. Especially when I was like a young kid in elementary school, super introverted, I would have to say. I was a shy kid. But making content and filming myself on my flip. You ever see those flip cameras where the USB comes out of the side? I got that for Christmas, and that's what I would film myself with back then when I was 11 and 12. And so, I mean, even though I was like this shy kid in elementary school, I feel like I just liked posting videos of myself online. I don't even know why, but this is just something I like doing. And I always would watch YouTube even back then in 2006 with all the old guys like Smosh and Nigahiga, Kev Jumbo, all these guys. I would always watch all of them. And that also inspired me to just make funny content and post back then. But if I was still doing that, like if I kept that up and didn't even play sports, like that, it would be crazy right now. But obviously, I don't regret anything. Sports got me to be where I am today, have the competitive drive and everything, and who I am today. But that's pretty crazy that I was making videos back then when YouTube was just starting. I just wish I could see those videos eventually again. But yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy, dude. Yeah, life takes so many roads sometimes and paths and but I think like what sort of we're talking about on this podcast, the exciting thing is that there is now an economy for creators and that like we just said earlier in this podcast, one of the fastest growing businesses or the fastest ROI businesses is content creation. So it's sweet. It's really cool. Like, you don't have to door knock. You don't have to do these things. You could literally create on video, create on camera, get your message across, make sales, make money. You could do it remote. Like, you don't have to go into a 9 to 5.
Right.
I mean, I know my biggest thing just dreading was like doing a 9 to 5, man, or like going into like a bank or going into an office and having to be there, not like being excited to be there. Like someone says, okay, you have to be here. You have this many days off a year. This is your 401k. This is, maybe, when I'm 40, I'll be making this much. And then when you're 50, maybe you'll be a managing director. And then 60, maybe a vice president or like.
And you can tell like this is what we're passionate about. We obviously love talking about this. We didn't have anything planned for this episode. We were actually already talking about this. And then we just said, start the podcast anyway.
Yeah.
Nothing going. But let me ask you a question about this content creation stuff that I thought about. Actually, I was watching the Streamies last night, had dinner at my parents' house, and I turned on the Streamies, and my dad had a question that I couldn't really answer. I didn't know how to really answer it, but it's interesting to think about. I mean, I couldn't answer it because you'll see, like, really is no answer to it. But where do you think, do you know who, like, so like Rhett and Link won an award for Best Show, Good Mythical Morning?
Mythical Morning, guys. Yeah.
And so they're both 45 years old, right? And they've been doing this 12 years or whatever. They've been in it for a long time, they were saying.
Insane.
Where do you think like YouTube will be in not 5-10 years, but 20 years? Where will it be in 20 years? Because then they'll be 65. Then they'll be like the old guys in the game, but they built their whole business off of strictly content creation. They'll be where like all the people in the Academy Awards are, with the Steven Spielbergs, the old heads, the guys who've been in the legends in the game. How will everything have changed in 20 years? And it's hard to even answer it because of where we were 20 years ago with nothing, and things are just dramatically increasing year by year, 10xing. So I don't know. What are your thoughts though?
So yeah, I think if you look, like, history always repeats itself and there's really nothing new under the sun. Like when you look at YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram, like it's just changing the way video's distributed. Like, where it typically was either television channels, you had the radio, and then from the radio you took the audio, and then you got the visuals with the audio, and then now you have like all these smartphones that have video camera capabilities, and then these apps are created where then people could share their experiences with video, and then places like YouTube and the internet change things where then you have all these servers that are now hosting all these video clips. So I think YouTube could easily have, I just think back on like Citizen Kane, some of these classic movies, like the black and white movies, like, Hollywood's been around for a long time doing what they've been doing. So I think YouTube could have another 100 years. I think we're in the early stages. I think we're in the Charlie Chaplin days of YouTube, dude. And I think that YouTube could be at its peak maybe in 10, 20 years from now, like the golden era. I think maybe we're entering it. Maybe we're entering the golden era now because how fast the internet accelerates everything. So I think I think Rhett and Link, like what I heard, what they're doing is now they're creating other formats, other channels with different shows where it's not always them in front of the camera, and they're more a part of the ideation process and more of like the producer as they sort of want to pull back from these channels and still be creative and run a business, but not have to be on camera 5 days a week. So I think and we've seen that with Hollywood actors like The Rock and a lot of these people have moved into more the directing side of things. And because sometimes there could be more longevity on the back end of things than just being the face. But yeah, I think it's going to get into like where, like Dar and Jay Shetty and these different people, more YouTubers are going to start having 100 employee businesses and having sets where they're working on. And I think we'll like all these, it's going to be like independent little like production companies YouTubers will have, and then eventually maybe they'll have other people be the face or whatever. Yeah, I mean, that's how I sort of feel like it's going to go.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, even it was like probably 8 years ago that YouTube just started monetizing, or not just monetizing, but like people were getting wealthy off YouTube. And then in 10 years, there'll be a lot of people that are multimillionaires and then a couple billionaires from YouTube. But one thing I did hear on, like, I think Patrick Bet-David talked about this in a podcast. They were talking about Mr. Beast and how he was saying this, which was interesting. He was saying that Mr. Beast is actually a replaceable guy, whereas like Logan Paul.
That was savage.
Did you hear that?
That was savage.
Yeah, that's what I was like, interesting, because he was saying Logan Paul and Jake Paul are not because of their vibrant personalities and who they are as people, whereas Mr. Beast isn't like this outrageous, just alpha guy. He's just like a host, it seems like. And so they were saying he can be replaceable, and that reminds me, I mean, that relates back to what you were saying, because they could always do 100 kids versus 100 adults in these cubes like he did, but have a different guy as the host and still come up with all these creative ideas. They could do that. And at first, obviously, people will say, oh, why is Mr. Beast not on it? Why is Jimmy Donaldson not on this content? But then over time, people will slowly get over it and just like the videos for the ideas and realize that even though he's the one coming up with these crazy ideas, that he can definitely transform this channel or many other channels into huge media production companies without him even having anything to do with it, and just getting a percentage from it or whatever he wants to get from it. Just make the world a better place by building out more businesses, employing more people, and just starting this social media empire. Without even being there. It is interesting. So what do you think about that? Do you think he's replaceable?
So I disagreed at first with Patrick Bet-David. I was like, dude, that is so savage. What are you talking about? But when I started thinking about it, Mr. Beast has more of a game show kind of format, challenges there. He's not the main center of attraction, the sole focus, like David Dobrik would be, or like Logan Paul or Jake Paul, where it's very personality driven, So I was sort of thinking about that book, Built to Scale, Built to Sell, whatever, and thinking about how Sean Cannell made Think Media. That's a big YouTube channel that teaches people how to do video and camera and YouTube. He called it Think Media instead of his namesake. So then one day he could potentially exit the company, scale it, sell it, and it's not just relying on him. So I think Mr. Beast, the channel got to where it is now because of his brains, because of his ideas, because of his drive and everything. I don't think it would be as successful if he wasn't in the picture, like coming up with the video topics and all that. But I do think he could put someone else there, like Chandler, I don't know, someone who could be the face. And as long as he's still there, it would still do extremely well. Versus like Jake or Logan, like what, on their YouTube channel, are they just going to like put someone else? Like, no, people are coming for them. So I don't know. I think as a creator, it's just smart in general to like, if you're thinking long term and maybe you're getting burned out of your content, and you're actually making a serious living with your content, to maybe create a second channel or to come up with a different format, or maybe do a podcast or something to have that longevity. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, beginning as a vlogger, your content is solely based around your personality. If you're going to be, I mean, everyone tries to vlog, but the reality is most people just aren't that interesting. Their their lives aren't that interesting to just vlog and try to make money off you going and getting a smoothie every morning. But if you're Mr. Beast, and you're making all these challenges, these games, it is easier to hire someone to replace you, be a host, and now he's just started this massive company, maybe like Beast Media or something, and they just become this huge network that they have weekly, like, because I think he only does like a video a month now, but they could do weekly shows if they put even more money into it, you know, tens of millions of dollars. They're already putting like 4 or 5 million in a video. So the long term with that would be interesting to see, because who knows, he probably can't just do what he's doing forever, even though he says he wants to. He definitely will eventually. I mean, he's smart. He has over 100 employees, so he knows how to scale his brand. But to scale even more, he would eventually have to leave as the face. And I think it can be done. But it'll be interesting to see what happens. Because, I mean, all he wants to do is make YouTube videos. He was that kid who was just, all he wanted to do is make YouTube videos. It's crazy that he had this vision 10 years ago when he was 12 years old or whatever. And one really cool video, to change the topic completely, one really cool video that Mr. Beast posts that I'm sure you've seen are like "Hi Me in a Year," "Hi Me in 5 years."
Yes.
Have you seen those?
Amazing.
Those are
Incredible.
crazy. I think he just the "Hi Me in 5 years" came out already, and I think there's like a new one, "Hi Me in 10 years," that's going to come out. And he said like that video is insane. He said that one's going to get like 100 million views. Can you imagine?
That's
someone
sick.
he had 1,000 subscribers making these videos saying, "Hi Me in 5 years. If I don't have 1 million subscribers, I will." I don't know. He said he better, because that's all he's going to focus on, all he's going to care about. And so just starting from that and ending up building what he's built is pretty interesting. But I don't want to make this whole thing about Mr. Beast. We talk about him too much. But
you love your Mr. Beast.
Nah, it's just insane.
It's just a good blueprint,
scaled.
You know, to see what's possible.
Yeah, because nobody really does it like him. YouTube he's like the Steph Curry of YouTube. You know, Steph has changed basketball and implementing all these 3-pointers, and Mr. Beast has changed YouTube to where everyone's copying his thumbnails and everything. So it's just, and doing all these challenges and giving away money, and he's pretty much is the founding father of all that. And everyone knows. Yeah,
I think like when you think of Robert De Niro, Danny DeVito, like Mark Wahlberg, like these guys are still acting. They're still putting out movies, television shows. Like they could do it till they're 100. So I think YouTubers can be on a YouTube channel till they're 100. The problem with freaking YouTubers and content creators is like you're a little entrepreneur and you feel like, oh, I could go do this, I could do that. Versus like, I don't know, an actor. I feel like you're more like, okay, the next big movie, the next big television show. I don't know. I don't want to say they're more grateful, but like they just keep going. Versus I think a lot of content creators, it's like, oh, I could stop doing this in a year and do something else. Or I don't know. You sort of feel me? Like, I don't know.
Kind of. Are you saying like actors have it easier, or content creators have more leeway, or what are you exactly?
I feel like I think it's cool to think, okay, what if Mr. Beast does do his channel for another 60 years and him the face, or Jake Paul or Logan Paul the face? I think we think for some reason like content creators like, oh, they could only go another 10 years or 20 years. But look at like a Meryl Streep or Daniel Day-Lewis, these like acting greats. Like, why can't a content creator do that? You know what I mean? Like, I feel like we're so early to tell what the future will be, but I feel like people have a lot bigger shelf lives than I think people think.
No, I'll listen to podcasts of people that are in their mid-30s always talking about like, do I want to be doing YouTube videos in 10 years when I'm 45? But then they'll be like, well, Casey Neistat is still just making vlogs. He's like mid-40s, you know? I mean, why not? I mean, if he's making all this money, has this huge reach, he's happy every day because he gets to be creative, and that's what he's good at. Why wouldn't he just continue to do this as long as possible? It's not like it's slowly not being looked at as childish anymore, to whereas maybe 6, 7, 8 years ago, it was like, oh, you're making YouTube videos? You know, that's cute. But now like 40-year-olds, 45-year-olds are vlogging, are there's more than ever that are like, because you're a production company now, and you're seeing, it's not like, you know, your grandma's not going to look at it and think, oh, you're just making funny videos just for fun. No, everyone is actually very thoroughly educated on, if you have a big following over 100,000 plus, you are, I don't care who you are well educated on social media in all of these aspects and everything that we talk about. There's a big back end thought process to each and every video. It's not just, it doesn't just happen for you if you have a big following and came from zero without any help from anyone else. There's a lot going on in behind the scenes, and we don't know. Yeah, Mr. Beast could be doing this for 60 years, or anyone could be doing it forever. It just depends where the interests are. You know, you look at a lot of these people like Logan Paul. He's gone from making vlogs to boxing to then making a company in Prime, creator brand, and now in the WWE. You can, with the following, you can do anything you want, and especially this day and age with a guy like him or anyone his age and in their mid-20s that came up from social media, their attention span is small, so they're going to want to change industries all the time. And something that he can do, he has a privilege of being able to do because of his massive platform. If he wanted to do something else in a month, he could probably easily do it and be successful at it because he's built this big following over time. And his attention span, I don't think, just doesn't allow him to stay in one place for more than a few months over time. But it's still, his work ethic will get him to be successful in anything he'd want to be. And this is just, there is a little more leeway, I feel like, too, because it's a little harder for someone who's only been an actor to build something else, because also when you're an actor, I feel like you're employed, so you are conditioned to being at a place at a certain time every day, doing what people tell you, reading the lines that people have written for you. So you don't really have the entrepreneur mindset as far as whereas content creators that have started and built their own brand up, they have made every decision for themselves along the whole path. And a guy like, but it does take a certain mindset, so it's going to be harder for an actor who's been told what to do every day to innovate and go in different directions. Like a Mark Wahlberg, I mean, I love that he's created many other things for himself, and he's built up all these businesses. He made one of the most successful TV shows out of his life, which is insanely cool, Entourage. And now he has $100 million house in Beverly Park. Just from all the companies and businesses he's made. So he is one, him, The Rock, a lot of examples of people, even though The Rock, he's done a lot of things, but yeah, so that's what I think about. Yeah, that was just a tangent,
crazy,
but yeah,
dude.
So
but that's crazy. Think about it. It would be more beneficial, really, for someone to be a content creator and be an A-list content creator than an A-list actor, because you'll have more possibilities. You have a different mindset. You have different experiences. You have different laterals. I don't know if that's a word. You could go Logan. They could sell Prime in a few years for a few $1 billion easily. He could be a billionaire. It's not that hard with his audience he's built and how social media works. And then he could go do something else, or he could make content and it's getting 5 views every day and he doesn't even have to care because he has all the money in the bank. I just Hollywood actors, if a movie flops, they're in trouble because they might not get calls for that next big movie or that next big script that's going around town to be that star lead actor in. But in a content creator, that entrepreneurial mindset where you're always trying, you're always, and it's just you almost can't fail because it's just I don't want to say the power's in your hand, but more so than being an actor.
Yeah, it kind of is, because if the movie flops, like you said, they can't just make another movie the next day. They gotta find. I mean, I guess it's kind of similar being a content creator. If your video flops, you start that next day and figure out what your next piece of content would be, how to make it better. I guess if you're an actor, it's hard to figure out how to make it better because you don't have much say other than in saying yes, I'll read your lines that you've made for me, unless you are the actor / producer, which we see a lot of people are that are already well off in the space. But I feel like it just takes so long to even get there to where you are starting, you've done your first few movies, and then you're getting some notoriety, you're getting well known, you've won like an award, you've been in a big movie, some people know you, and now you're slowly getting to be a B-lister, and that, I feel like already 8 years have passed. If you think about the whole journey of being an actor. But that's just how it was to get popularity and fame, 20 years ago. It's just different now. It's a new day and age. And actors, I mean, who even really wants to? I'm sure there's a lot of people that just only want to be an actor. They don't want to be. Because there are people also that only have the mindset of wanting to stay in their job, work for a boss, have someone tell them what to do, and then they get all the benefits of it. So in one sense, it is easier if you are already in that role, because then you just show up every day, read the lines. You don't have to do any of the production. You don't have any say in anything. You just see how it is at the end, and then you'll get a lot of followers on Instagram when the movie premieres. So that's how you'll find out if it's doing well or not. But
yeah, it's true. It's just so different. It's just so different,
Yeah. All right. Well, we've pretty much nailed a lot of things on this episode, huh? We've talked about a lot. We went for a good amount of time.
We did. Yeah. We sort of covered everything in this episode. So
we did. We covered a lot. But yeah, this was pretty good. I'm gonna be, when this episode drops, I'll be in New York filming a bunch of content, hammering out tons of videos, shorts, long form, just trying to get it all reeled up into the new year. Like we were saying earlier, get that momentum going for us to head into 2023, make it the best year of our lives. It easily will be for both me and Tommy. We're just grinding every day, trying to innovate, grow our socials, all that good stuff. We will be getting guests on this podcast soon. We are in the works, in talks with a lot of people as well, to learn from them as well, and so that we can learn from them, you can learn from them, and we can all just benefit and slowly grow over time. See how it gets. Any final thoughts, Thomas?
No, man. Other than just doing the whole like and subscribe, leave a review on Apple, Spotify, wherever you're listening to, and we just appreciate you taking your time to listen. We hope you got a lot of value out of this, and please share it with a friend or someone who you think that this could help. And till we see you, on the next episode.
Till next time. Peace.
Later, guys.